I'm sorry I'm late. Had security stop me. She spent the last 10 minutes re-responding me. Including the banana. And the front that looks like a fruit.
Just pass him down. Pass him down. I got one. All the Sonics are here.
They're more or less important.
Please stop me.
Hello, hello. Welcome to our Doctor Who panel. I will say the last time I did a Doctor Who panel, it was called The Guests and the Doctors, and Charles Dunbar, Michael Tatum and I did it, and Charles's girlfriend had somehow gotten her hands on like the opening credits for the new series, and had the opening credits only, instead of all of the names, it had mine and Michael Tatum's and Charles Dunbar's name rolling forward. Like,
wow.
It was really cool. And I wanted to get a copy of it, and never got a copy of it.
We'll call him. We know his number.
Yeah.
We'll just mock him the entire time.
Exactly.
We'll put all his pictures in black and white and make him scared of tinfoil.
I love it.
Hi everybody, how are y'all doing? Okay, so I'm going to ask the first question is, how many people are new Doctor Who fans? Raise your hands.
New Gen series.
New generations, like
Starting with Eccleston.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And now, how many of you are the old school Doctor Who fans?
Some are both. I like that.
We're both.
Good for you guys.
Old stuff after the new stuff?
What? You can count that. Old stuff after the new.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's like you know. At least it's not like Pepsi.
Exactly. God no. God no.
So what's your favorite?
What is my favorite?
What is your favorite anything at this point?
Okay, I have to say my favorite Doctor is Seven. Obviously. It's the Doctor that I cosplay. I also play the Spoons. I am a huge fanatic for anything Sylvester McCoy. But I have to say, my favorite episode of all time comes from the new series, and that's Vincent and the Doctor. That there is such a beauty and a subtlety to it that I cannot watch that episode without crying.
No.
I've never watched that episode, and I've probably seen it about 75 times, and I cry every single time. It just kills me.
It's an amazing, and I hate to say it, Moffat knew what he was doing, or at least the BBC knew what he was doing. Because also at the end credits they say, if you've been affected or feel strong emotions to, please call suicide hotline. I'm going, yeah. Darn you, Moffat! Oh, sorry. The same as, darn you, Barrowman! But anyway, we love it. So, what about you? What about me? All of them, yes.
Yeah. People ask me who your favorite Doctor is, I say there's only one. There's just one.
There's just one Doctor. One Doctor.
There's many different faces.
Yeah, I confuse people because I tell people, he could be Buddhist.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And then people think, so that makes you a Buddhist Time Lord? I said, yes, you do not want to see what my reincarnation miles look like. What do you want the audience to ask a question?
Yeah, we can let them ask questions, we can talk about stuff. We've got some fun stories. Tadao has a lot more fun stories than I do, but...
Well, adventurous, weird. I worked this little convention called Gallifrey 1 in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And it's funny, there's for those of you who don't know, there's a Doctor Who Builders Club out there, as well as these Stitches in Time Doctor Who props and scarf makers. And for some reason, I kind of said, you may not know me, but I'd like to join us. And we know who you are. And I was going, what? And it's funny because we have a TARDIS at the Gallifrey 1. It's a real bona fide TARDIS.
A real one.
It's a real one. I've even got the keyboard. I wanted to torture with it. This is the key to the TARDIS. Now you're wondering. Winston, come on. Anyway, thank you. The Doctor may live like Jelly Baby. I live at night.
Yeah,
that's just me.
Well, that's because we live in the States. We can't do jelly babies anymore.
Oh yeah.
We were talking about that the other night.
How many people know what a jelly baby is? Raise your hands. How many people? Okay. Jelly baby. It's a jelly baby. How many people have actually eaten a jelly baby? Raise your hand. How many people actually know that jelly babies are now contraband items to the United States? Thank you. I know, for you fans know, what? Basically, the FDA said they do not approve of certain color mixtures that have gone into the jelly baby. So they don't approve of like whatever the red color dye, the yellow color dye, or the green color dye there is in a jelly baby. So they are now contraband, which has driven up the price of black market jelly baby bags everywhere. The only thing that rivals that is the whole Cadbury chocolate fiasco this year. And it's just kind of horrible. So anyway, the TARDIS I want to talk about real quick is our old girl is actually about 30 years old. She was built not by me. People say I own it. I said, no, I'm just a custodian. I make sure she's okay, and that's why I got a key. Basically, it was built for fan subs and fan videos, fan films. Thank you. It was films because we had only like 35 and 8mm. And so basically, our madman, genius, Time Lord, Alan Hale. No, not the one from Gilligan's Island. And his name really is Alan Hale, who, like any other fan, saw every single Doctor Who episode, freeze frame or stop the videotape where he could, and he would take a tape measure and start measuring out the TARDIS, and then start measuring out the heights of the Doctors and the companions and anyone's gone through. And then he begged friends in London to send any sort of information on the sizes, heights, and weights of the Doctors, the companions, and all that. And he has compiled that all, and the group got together and they built a TARDIS. It's not just one TARDIS, it is the TARDIS, because it is built to fit every single Doctor Who companion, the Doctors, the actors, etc. And it's a giant friggin' 1,000-pound puzzle box.
Yeah. Straight out of Hellraiser.
Oh no, I love little girl, but when she lands on your foot, you have no idea. On YouTube we have KETH, and they have How Who Are You episode 4. We demonstrate how to put the old girl together. Now, the important thing about this is almost every single Doctor, with the exception of the first one, William, Patrick's gone through it, John Pertwee's gone through it, Tom Baker did not quite get through it for different reasons. Then we jump over to Peter and Sylvester. Oh, Sylvester, you'll love this one. We assembled the TARDIS in a room like this on the floor. The TARDIS actually has a working light system and a working Bakelite telephone. It took them 3 years to find a Bakelite telephone. Yes, sir?
Just out of curiosity, it seems okay, but I got a report that the sound was low. You have any problems with mics?
No. Hello.
Did it seem like when I came in?
No, we're good. Thank you, appreciate it.
It's us. We're a bunch of loudmouths, you know.
Yeah.
We need no microphone!
You got two of the loudest people at this convention in terms of guests here.
Oh, yeah.
And you're worried about mics? Thinking mics?
I'm in here. We have 3 of the loudest people.
Actually, Jessica's here, so we got 4.
And besides that, if we need to fix something.
5. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Knobs here, sonic screwdrivers, and exhausts.
Thank you, Gail.
Thank you. Thank Ted, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you.
So, here's the story. We set up the TARDIS. Now, I should go. The real reason we have a bona fide TARDIS is because when Doctor Who, the movie, came out, which people will still talk about, it's a good thing. The request from the BBC was for the TARDIS for the TV guide cover and photo shoot. So if you've got that cover, if you actually know what a TV guide is, I realized I did that once a galley though.
We've dated ourselves.
There's the front cover and there's posters of Sylvester McCoy passing on the key to Paul McGann in front of our TARDIS.
Yeah.
It is also, it's great, and there's a story to that. And that TARDIS also ended up at the DGA premiere. Now, backwards running, Sylvester was happy to see the old girl the second time, as it were. The first time was at a Gallifrey convention in a room very much like this, and Sylvester said, "I'm very bad with time." And we all stared at him going, "You realize where you are?" You know, no, really, for true, other than time, I'm really bad with time. I need someone to actually let me know how much time I've got before I got to go.
Yeah.
And then he started rolling his R's, and then all the girls swooned, and then we were dead. And then Alan Hale said, "You'll be in the main room. We'll take care of it." "Are you sure?" You'll find a sign. It's not a problem." So they put him in the room, the same room with the TARDIS. He rigged the TARDIS booth to actually ring and attach it to the phone circuits of the hotel. So operations, way about 5 doors down, looked at the time and says, "Okay, Sylvester's got like 10 minutes. What do you want, a 10-minute call?" "Yeah, I want a 10-minute call." And then, so they just dialed the room number from the other room. And suddenly Sylvester's going, and so that's where there's, and then all of a sudden the phone starts ringing from nowhere, and the light starts blinking on the top. And Sylvester's actually stopped in mid-sentence going, "Oh wait, of course, pardon me." And he goes straight to, and he bends his ear down. Yep, it's a phone ring. He opens it up. Everyone's going, "There's a phone in there?" He picks it up. "Yes, hello? Oh, yes, of course, yes. No. Yes, of course. Right, Your Majesty. Right, thank you very much." And he closes the doors. "Terribly sorry." And then he just goes back to the thing, and then 5 minutes later, he's done, because he's got it all timed out. And it's like, everyone still will not stop talking. And then when it came to the photo shoot, he kind of, "She looks familiar." And he scared everyone, because they'd forgotten they'd given him a key to anyone who goes to the TARDIS who's contributed more, like 18 plus 20 hours, 3 days worth, who are guests, will get a key to the TARDIS, meaning almost every single companion that we've had. And get it, and very few special people. I don't know why I got it. Okay, because I have to take care of the old girl once in a while. Got a key, and he scared everyone because he went. I said, "No, we need to get the key," and they couldn't find a couple of the other guys. I wasn't there that day. I wish I was there that day. And they said, "No, it's okay." And he took out the key, opened it, and we were, "How did you? It's the TARDIS." And everyone just kind of went, "We give up."
Sylvester McCoy, you can't even.
You can't even. Now, I got to tell you the side note story with this one. Inside the phone door, the distinction between our TARDIS and other TARDISes is that the thing that says "pulled open police box call box" is actually in black, and it's got the silver or gold sort of etching thing. It's the main thing. There are like 5 TARDISes now roaming around the world. But he opens it up, and inside is a brass plaque. And it says, "TARDIS Movers Union 42" has a list of all the people who assembled the TARDIS over the years. And it says, "In memory of Ian Martin." Now, this is magnetic close, and this kind of... Now, as I was told, Mr. McGann had been called in to do this photo shoot. It's been months since he'd done the thing. And he'd flown in from, like, Canada, and he'd already flown in from England. And you know how it's like when you fly. Even Time Lords have problems with that. And he wasn't really into it. You know, he was, "Oh, hello, yeah, Sylvester, yeah, okay, we'll pass the key. And, you know, the guys were just feeling it for some reason. And then he goes, "This looks familiar." He hadn't actually been to one of our conventions yet. And Sylvester goes, "Oh, what do you see?" And he walks away. And they're resetting a light thing, and then Paul's going, "Oh," and he just, out of sheer perversity, pulls at the door. And the phone door pops open. It surprises the heck out of him. He sees the phone, and he looks over, and then he realizes, and he looks carefully, and says, "Da-da-da-da-da-da-da, in the memory of Ian Martin." The rest of the crew swears he closed the door. He looked in the reflection, straightened out his tie, so boom, and suddenly he was the Doctor again. And Sylvester walked back and said, "So you found your inspiration?" I said, "Quite so, you know, it was just one of those..." And everyone's going, "What just happened?" The Americans who don't know, what the heck just happened? And that's the shoot you see next of Paul Sylvester.
Yeah. Wow, that's very
It
nice.
is the most amazing, crazy, and if I don't stop talking about it, I'm going to start crying.
I understand.
Anyway, there are a lot more crazy moments, but I
will talk about, I just recently had probably, I've got to say this, I deal with a lot of fandoms. I deal with a lot of fandoms. I straddle the world of multiple fandoms, and my brother does a panel called "Why Your Fandom Sucks." And it's about fans that are so into what they're into, they drive other people off. And he talks about all of these. He talks about, you know, Homestuck and My Little Pony and all these different fans. And one thing that I've noticed, he's never talked about this, but one thing that I've noticed is that Who fans, yes, there is often debates between new and old and whatnot. You know, Moffat or Davies and, you know, stuff like that. But here's the thing. Who fans are very accepting, and you know, we all love the same show, regardless of when it started, whatnot. Yes, sometimes I get a little frustrated with Nubians that don't realize there's a Doctor before Eccleston. But for the most part, I find Who fans to be very encompassing and loving of each other, much like you get with a lot of anime fans. So, with that story, with that said, I will talk about my very favorite Doctor Who moment ever. It has nothing to do with the show, it has everything to do with an anime convention. My girlfriend and I worked for over a year, actually as an anniversary gift. My girlfriend knew that I'd always wanted to do a costume for the 7th Doctor. And this was prior to, this was what makes me mad, is that they have just recently started doing it. My girlfriend contacted the BBC's replicas department and had a sweater made for me, the sweater vest, made from the original pattern with the original batch dye colors. It is as close to McCoy's sweater as you can get without being something that he had on his body. And that's why he's actually a little big on me, because he's a little larger than I am. Not much bigger than I am, but a little bit. So I mean, and she paid an arm and a leg for it, and now they're mass producing them. I've said that and the umbrella and everything, and I'm like, oh, yeah, try that. But yeah, I've had mine for about 3 years now. So, you know, finding the brown and white robes and everything, and then it took her almost a year to get all the patches for Ace. So we finally, not this past year, but the year before at OhioCon, we had everything ready to go. So we debuted the costume. I did the roast on Friday night and then went straight back to the room and shaved my beard. And so no one recognized me on set. It was wonderful. We wandered through the convention and no one knew who I was. But we were coming around a corner and this little girl screamed, "Doctor, Ace!" and comes running. It was a little girl, probably about 8 or 9 years old, dressed as a very young Clara Oswald. And she was just bouncing up and down. Well, Crystal got on one knee to talk to her, and I was talking to the mother, and she loves Ace. This little girl just loves Ace. So I was talking to the mother, and she said, you know, it's really cool. She said, I'm amazed that I've seen you. She just knew she was coming to this convention and was going to meet all the doctors. And I knew there was a 4 running around, but I couldn't find him. Who looked like Tom Baker, was really weird, only was shorter. And I said, hold on a minute, because she said, you know, I knew there were going to be, you know, some Tennants and some Smiths. She said, but none of the classics. I said, give me just a minute. So I told Crystal. Crystal called her ex-boyfriend, who's a dear friend of ours, who happened to be dressed as the 1st Doctor. I called another friend of mine who shows up every year for OhioCon dressed as 6. I'm sorry, dressed as 5. So while we're waiting for them, a river song, an 80 pond, and a 10. Just happened to walk by and go, oh my God, what's going on here? So around the corner comes my friend Chris, dressed as Davidson. When Stephen comes around the corner as Hartnell, he has run into a friend of his who is dressed as 6. So all of us got together with this little girl who was bouncing up and down and just beside herself. That she was getting to meet all. It was really probably truly one of the most wonderful and magical moments I've ever had at a convention. And it was thanks to Doctor Who. So, you know, I will say my embarrassing story real quick because I told you.
No, go for it.
Okay. A couple of years ago at Dragon Con, Sylvester McCoy was a guest. This was before Crystal and I started dating. And Crystal was actually, I keep losing my e-cig. Falling out of my damn pocket. I'm going to do this. Crystal knows what a big fan of McCoy I am. And she was doing their steampunk. They'd lost a model, they'd asked her to do the steampunk fashion show, which was part of the British track. So she was back in the green room, and there's Sylvester McCoy. And she's a very pretty girl, so he's going to talk to her. If you know anything about Sylvester McCoy,
He's a clearly talker, yeah.
So they were talking, and she said, wow, she said, I have a friend that would kill me right now. She said, he's a huge fan of yours. He learned to play the spoons because he saw you do it, and she was telling me, he goes, oh, let's call him. So I'm at work on a break, and my phone rings, and it's Crystal's number, and I knew that she was at Dragon Con. I knew it was an out-of-town con for her, that she didn't know anybody there. I'm like, ooh, could be a problem. Let me answer. there's a male voice on the other end. It sounds familiar, and he goes, hello, is this Chris Ayres? And I'm like, yes, who is this? He goes, hello, Chris, this is Sylvester McCoy. So, after I had the heart attack, so we actually talked for about 10 minutes. He was absolutely delightful. So, cut to a few months later. I get a text message. You're going to get a call from a number you don't know. Answer it. Okay, it was from her, so I'm like, okay, I trust it. So, phone rings. Hello, this is the doctor. And it's somebody obviously doing a really bad Tom Baker impression. And I'm like, oh, they've got somebody who thinks he does a good Baker impression. I'll just play along. Oh, hello, doctor, how are you? And being very kind of smug with this guy, this idiot. And got off the phone with him, and about 2 minutes later, Krista calls back and she goes, so, how was that? I said, well, the guy did a halfway decent Tom Baker. I said, I kind of humored him. She goes, oh my God, what do you mean? I said, well, somebody obviously doing a bad Tom Baker impression. She goes, Chris, that was Peter Davidson. They actually got Peter Davidson to call me. They haven't told me. I thought it was somebody doing a bad Tom Baker impression. Very embarrassing.
Did you get to like tell Peter Davidson that?
No, I haven't yet.
The question is, do you want to?
Actually, I've heard he's a very nice man. I think he would actually get a real kick out of that.
Oh, by the way, just a small minor. Don't startle Peter
No.
Davidson like I did. So
Yeah.
he's a little skittish. He's not used to Americans, as he says. So don't do it. Just Mr. Davidson. Hi, don't. Peter! Don't.
He will soil himself.
And he will soil others. I don't know. We do a big charity auction, and one of the we actually had, I think Sylvester couldn't make it that one year, so he found someone else to replace him, and he didn't actually tell us who, and then he called us back going, do you mind, these two gentlemen have agreed to lower their fees, do you mind? And then they finally told us who he got to replace himself, who could replace Sylvester? So he sent over Colin Baker and Peter Davison. That was an interesting year. And then Colin, we do a charity auction all the time. I love doing the charity auction, and we were having it, and we were in a smaller room, and Colin kind of wanders in. There's a story before this, but Colin wanders in. Oh yes, we'll get some of the guys in, the gals in. Okay, fine, thank you, sir. And he does an auction, and I have to do the auction. I have to do a couple in a row, and then I hear someone behind me, and everyone's going. And I'm going, oh, okay, so no problem. I'm just done. I turn around, and there's Peter. His back is turned to me, and he's sculling through all the things, trying to find out. And he said, what do we do? And I said, hey! I said it just too loud. And he jumped 3 feet. He was like, oh, hello, and he bowed. He did one item, and then he quickly escaped. Meanwhile, Colin is just smiling, going, and then he said, sorry, Tadao, I should have warned you. And yet, I feel set up at the same time. Now, the reason I feel set up was that was the same year that our programming director had to have a meeting, and he was talking with Mr. Baker, Colin Baker. Colin is a tall man.
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm Japanese, and you're wow. Okay.
Everybody's tall to me.
Honorary Japanese, don't worry about it. So, and the funny thing, we're in an old hotel. We're not the one that can now hold thousands. This is one that can hold hundreds, which is kind of funny. I say, Robbie wants to see you. Do you mind? And by the way, Mr. Baker, sorry, Robbie just wants to say I've enjoyed all your work. It's wonderful. Oh, thank you very much. He reaches out. I said, oh, thank you kindly. He said, yes, and you enjoyed to shake hands for a very long. Oh God, he remembers I'm Mr. Shake Hands Man from Britain. And I'm going, oh God, because he's a tall man. He's shaking really. Oh yes, of course. My daughters love you, of course. Oh yes, thank you. And I'm doing all this. And the funny thing is that we actually, without realizing, had 2 cricket teams visiting the United States because it's February, it's foggy, and it's only 40 degrees. It's a heck of a lot warmer than in England.
Yeah.
So this one cricket team was on one side of the restaurant. They went, oh look, it's the doctor, and he's shaking hands with an Asian man. The other side is, oh my God, it's Mr. Shake Hands Man. He's shaking the hands with some fella. Oh my God, it's the doctor. And then one of my friends came up because we actually had a BBC crew there, and he went, start the tape, but sadly we all had to disperse. go! Oh gosh, all the BB. It was so very strange.
It's so wonderful.
It is a fun thing. Questions
Yeah,
about
questions.
Doctor Who? Anything? We actually we're cheating.
Yeah.
I actually have
A book.
a book called Doctor Who: The 50 Essential Guide. It doesn't include
Yeah.
much Peter at the moment, and also my second favorite book, the TARDIS
Yeah.
on Doctor Who. And like I said, if we don't have the answers, we'll make them up for you.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah. With that.
Any
But,
questions? Yeah, right there.
What is your favorite sonic screwdriver?
I'll let you go first on that one.
Well, we talked about this. Do you have a baker? A column baker?
I don't know. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Actually, Colin didn't really have us.
Yeah.
I have the laser. I don't have the laser thing with me.
No, that's
It's
okay.
a little box laser thing, but
Yeah. We can have any sonic screwdriver, any that you can pull out, and I will hold it just like McCoy does.
backwards.
Nice.
But,
How does this one like?
you pull the collar. And there we go.
Yeah. If you watch the film, the movie, McCoy, who had never had to handle a sonic screwdriver because he had the umbrella, and the umbrella kind of did the job of the sonic screwdriver.
Yes.
Holds it backwards. And when he's using the sonic screwdriver, he's holding it backwards. But really, in terms of design, I really like the Berkeley Baker era. I love the look of that.
That's actually Davison's. Peter.
Yeah, Peter Davidson's. It was more colorful.
See, the only problem with putting this in a bandolero is that it makes all the noise.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
That's Tom Baker's.
I just love the look of this one. I just really, really like the way it looks. Oh, there. Yeah, Berkeley's, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that one. All right, now this one's a cheat though.
Okay.
The actual, this is my idea of what this is my idea of what Patrick Troughton's Sonic is. It's supposed to be a pen light, but I can't find that particular one. On the other hand, this had the other factor of having an ultraviolet nib at the end.
Oh,
which is
nice.
Kind of sort of the
Yes,
Doctor
very
thing.
nice.
Let's see. The actual answer for me is, I admit, I tend to like, I like all the sonic screwdrivers. Kind of obvious, isn't it? However, when I walk around day to day, I actually try to carry around number 10, and then I, of course, carry around, 11s, the little claw thing. The reason why, is anyone recording anything? And does anyone, okay, I'm just saying you don't have to stop, just remember to edit this
Yeah,
out
no,
carefully.
there's some stuff that can't go online.
This is one small thing.
Exactly.
Don't worry about
Like
it.
that.
So, this is my favorite Sonic screwdriver.
And a bit of Doctor Who history. I have a good friend who works at Katsucon. His name is Keith Mayfield. He works with a lot of people that make props all over the world. He has original props from the movie Crawl, all kinds of stuff. Well, so we were talking about Doctor Who. He goes, I didn't realize you're a Doctor Who fan. I said, yeah, huge Doctor Who fan. Because I had my 10 Sonic screwdriver. And
The responded one.
there we go. And he, there we go. And he, which one is for the,
A little more up.
oh, a little more up, there we go. So, he said, oh, have you seen my Sonic screwdriver? I was like, you know I'm a Sonic screwdriver. Yeah, I do. He reaches into his pocket and he pulls out probably the best looking Sonic screwdriver I've ever seen. It was, you may get this. It's 3 different types of metal, including titanium. The wiring inside was a gold. The light, it made no sound. It made absolutely no sound when you push the button, but the light was like the brightest LED I had ever seen, and it was weighted beautifully. It was phenomenal. I'm like, this is a brilliant Sonic screwdriver. It should be. It's from the BBC. I was holding one of the Sonic screwdrivers from the Tennant Eccleston crossover. It was handled by both Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant. Now here's something interesting. Wait, is that a Tennant?
This is the transitional size. It's not the real one.
Okay, yeah, I was getting ready to say, because this is a transitional size. This is about the same size as his. Okay, now, but here's the thing. This is what it became. Eccleston actually used one, not much bigger than this. There's a reason they changed sizes. Not because the Doctor changed. You know the moment when Tennant sits up in bed and throws a sonic screwdriver at the tree that's coming in the door?
Yeah.
Okay. Tennant is a little fumble finger. He shot up and threw it right out of his hand, right through the lens of a camera. And so they needed to get him a larger sonic screwdriver so that he wouldn't break things. So yeah, so my friend has one of the smaller ones. He actually is considering at some point putting it up in their charity auction.
Oh, that would be cool.
And if they do, I will kill someone.
No, it's when they bring in the broken camera lens and it says broken by.
Yeah,
There's the other half of that story also,
yeah.
as well as when he started playing the Doctor as well, he started carrying around the first model that they had of this, right? He forgot he was traveling overseas, and he had gotten into this awful habit of carrying it around with him. Needless to say, foreign countries that have not seen Doctor Who yet are wondering, and this is my problem.
Yeah.
I get stopped at airport security with these things all the time. And it also and it happens apparently to all the current Doctors, because Matt Smith had the same problem. And they patted him down, and apparently the guy who patted him down was not a Doctor Who fan. Until the thing popped open, and then 5 security guards spun their heads going, I know that sound. And then they're hearing the junior guy going, what in the world is, oh, that's the, oh my God. Right, we should let him, what is he, he's got a weapon, no, trust us, he's got a, wish I had that kind of problem.
Exactly.
I get faced with full pat-downs and cavity searches because of these things.
It's because of the banana.
Yeah. Oh, no. So, should I tell them the regular story about all these things?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so backwards running is that when they first started coming out with the props, I've always, by the way, this is the original sonic screwdriver I've owned from the 80s. This is a machine thing, it's aluminum and all that. I tend not to carry this around because I lost it in my recorder too at some point, but that's a different story. I started carrying around this one, and I started carrying the Matt Smith one, and I was going to a convention in Iowa, and I had this in my bag, and I was going through LAX, and I didn't think about it because, you know, it's a prop. I work in Hollywood, I work with props, I've been on TV shows. I also forgot I had the handcuffs from Heroes in my bag. I get through, and the TSA officer comes in, sir, what's that? Oh, it's a sonic screwdriver. What? It's a sonic screwdriver. It unlocks doors, it breaks I just was rattling off everything, and I realized, wait, who am I talking to? Oh, hi. And sir, what's this? That's also a sonic screwdriver. You said it's a screwdriver. It's from a TV show. It's a science, I work in Hollywood, it's a science fiction TV show. Hang on a second, hang on. And he goes up to the direct line. It's a central display. Yeah, this is, yeah, I'm looking for, oh, it's you. Yeah, I didn't think you were on, okay, so we got this guy in here, and he's got these psionic screwy drivers. It doesn't look like it's got a, Yeah, there's one that's got the blue and green, and he says it's from a Dr. What? Huh? Yeah, he's Asian. Yeah, your name Tadao? Yeah. Yeah, did you hear that? Yeah, his name's Tadao. Yeah. Full body cavities. Hey! He heard you. Yeah. You sure? You really want to look with the? He says it breaks into the computer. Oh. Oh, an actor. Okay, it's on your head. Thanks, bye. You're free to go, sir. I didn't realize I had my old Who friends who are working for the TSA now. It's like, yeah! So, San Diego Comic-Con, I went dressed up as a Jedi Rogue, which was not much fun. We did different. They had a Japanese blaster in a holster. I was carrying my Master FX lightsaber, and I had the Matt Smith original thing in a tool belt thing. I got there late, and the security team that was there, she and he kind of looked like they'd been at it since 11 o'clock last night. Because they have to go through the San Diego Comic-Con. Anyone ever heard of it? It's a little convention. like 15,000 people every day from a Wednesday on until the next Tuesday. Guys like Thor show up. Anyway, they have more costumes there I've seen in my life, and you should see the Who Gathering. You would all lose your mind with the Who Gathering. I go in there and they say, sir, we're going to need to peace bomb the space gun. He said, yeah, no problem, I understood that. And we're going to need, and the ladies start going, and we're going to need to peace bomb the lightsaber. You want to peace bomb the lightsaber? It's a melee weapon. And I look over immediately, these 3 guys walking around with those giant anime scythes.
Yeah.
And there's no sign of a peace bonding on the thing. It's a little wristband. You can see it right here. It's a wristbandy thing. It's like, okay, fine. And then she's walking around me. I'm like, am I being checked out? And sir, is that a knife handle? Knife handle? What knife handle? And the knife handle here, I can't see where she's poking. She's poking, and then I reach around it. Oh no, this is a sonic screwdriver. And she goes, a what? And she grabs it out of my hand. Normally I would have said the same thing before. It's like, oh, it opens doors, it cracks windows, except she hit the button. And the claw thing popped out. And the look on her face was, what kind of sex toy? And you see her hand slowly going for the taser or the pepper spray. Her partner, this guy, suddenly does the George thing going, oh my. He's almost drooling, wondering what this is. Listen, it's a sonic screwdriver. It's a prop toy from Doctor Who. You have 15,000 Doctor Who fans who are buying this toy in there. Everyone has one who's a doctor. If you really feel like you need to I couldn't finish the sentence. I was like, zip, 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 zip. It's been peace bonded. The sonic screwdriver toy has been. I have friends from Torchwood, the kids who play Torchwood at the. We saw that. Oh my God! They took pictures on Instagram. Sorry. And all of a sudden, I'm going around and I'm saying, "Hey guys," and I go to the BBC site. Look, guess what? They peace bonded my sonic screwdriver. They're all going, "Yes, that's it." What? And then people started taking pictures, and then it started getting around that there was a. Now I know Grant Imahara. He's from Mythbusters, if you hadn't known. He's walking around in his David Tennant outfit, and he has his sonic screwdriver. It's not peace bonded. Who is more dangerous, a guy who blows things up for a living, or the actor? Apparently it's me. And then every year for the next 9 years, including last year, I've had every sonic screwdriver peace bonded. I'm the only one. I thought I had them because the bandolier I wore, I was being lazy one year and one spot, so I put them all in one spot and even put the fake banana in. And I thought I can get away with this. And I started walking through the door, and I was getting everywhere else. I was about to go through the main door. Excuse me, sir, we need to have you go have those at peace bond checking, weapons check. I'm about to say for the sonic, it's for the banana. I had to take a second, I'm in California, and think, he means the plastic fruit? Or the Asian guy who's wearing the plastic fruit. And he could see the look on my face going, the plastic fruit, the fruit thing, not you. You're not the banana. Let's not go there. That's okay, fine. And then he said, oh yeah, and the toothbrush too. What? I get in line. There was no one behind me at that point, and I just put it down. It's on my Facebook pages, and they were going to peace bond every single one of these screwdrivers with the bright orange little tapey thing. And then they were about to, they counted out, when they finished counting, they looked up, and there were like 18 more people behind me that weren't going to get a fresh supply. I said, fine, they peace bonded the middle of the whole thing. And the banana. There's Grant Imahara walking around, smiling like that. And I don't get my piece. I'm suspecting maybe he's paying the guys to do this. To throw them off the trail that I'm the one with the dangerous weapon instead of the guy who works for Mythbusters. So whenever you're carrying your sonic screwdriver, be careful. If you're carrying the plastic banana, forget about it right now.
I gotta get a plastic banana.
Any other questions?
Yes, questions.
Right, I've got 2 of you right there, back to back. The lady first.
What is your favorite villainous alien in Doctor Who?
Do we want to, in general, or that's a wide range.
Yeah.
In general, or do you say new or older?
Species then.
New and old.
New and old.
New and older.
I love Eldrad. Red must live. I'm just going to say that. So that there I go, classic. And of course for classic, the Master.
The Master.
Delgado. Oh my God.
Oh man.
New. You know who I really like are the Jadoon. They're not necessarily bad
Bad
guys,
guys,
but I like the Jadoon a lot.
They remind me a lot of LAPD once in a while. I'm kidding. Erase that part. I gotta go back to LA. Dallas is on me, yeah. I always thought the Zygons were kind of an interesting because they can transform.
Yeah, I like
Whoa. I was a little worried about the rabbit the one I saw the day of the Doctor, I'll be honest. That is Zygon. Ooh. He's cute and fluffy and will kill you! Oh, God.
What about you, sir?
How would a aspiring fan filmmaker go about trying to apply to use the TARDIS you guys?
Where do you live?
Here.
The TARDIS resides in the secret Gallifreyan location in California. That will be undisclosed because I really love the girl and people really do want to use her. Here's the thing. My TARDIS, the TARDIS I'm custodian with is not available unless you are willing to pay the shipping fees, the safety fees, and the insurance to get it to wherever you want to go. Under special consideration of the owners, which there are 3 of, plus 3 custodians, not including me, they make the decision on whether it's okay. Now, they're very happy to help out, don't get us wrong, we're very happy to help out the fan community when it comes to making films and the TARDIS. We've done this before. There's only 2 supervising field guys, and I'm one of them. And the biggest problem is she's really massively big.
Yeah.
And she's over 30 years old and fragile, and considering she's the actual only surviving TARDIS in the world,
It's pretty expensive.
it's pretty expensive. It's not so much expensive, it's the heart expensive, it's the emotion expensive, it's we had the one guy trying to help us out accidentally stepped on the windows, not realizing they weren't the real windows and cracked it, and then we were like agonizing for 5 days, how are we going to tell Alan he's going to kill us, sort of problems. If you're in California, maybe that would be easier to consider.
Yeah.
And you can find my information later and we'll discuss, but anything outside that, unless you're a WorldCon that can afford the insurance.
Yeah. The insurance on that's going to be through the roof.
Not
Because of how rare it is.
It's rare.
Yeah.
And then we can't guarantee where, and the other thing is Tony's a little snarky. He doesn't always send the Bakelite phone with us.
Yeah.
Because it's a Bakelite phone. Yeah, okay, anyway.
Another cue.
The funny part is it's realizing the people back there know what a Bakelite phone is the scary part right now. Oh, it's River who knows what it is. Hi, River.
Hi,
Okay, that's
River.
right. Yeah.
What?
Next question.
Question right over there.
Just kidding. The real question. Oh, okay, sorry. In Los Angeles, okay, honestly, I used to cheat. And whenever I went to Gallifrey, I'd spend hundreds of dollars and buy like 50 of the same type of I've lost, this is Sonic number 15. I've lost the other 12 to medical calls to entertain the kids, and I've never gotten them back. So don't ask. You can buy them at the bookstores. For some of them. If you can find that specialty science fiction store.
I was about to say there is, and I know they're going to have about 6 tables at the convention console room. I'm going to tell my story. I went last year when my girlfriend was still living in Illinois, up to visit her for spring break. I took a week off work. We were going to spend a few days in Chicago, a few days in Rockford, a few days in Champaign, and then I was going to fly back to Houston. So our first day there, she and her best friend said, "Oh, we've got to take you somewhere. If you are in the Chicagoland area, there is a place to go called Alien Entertainment." And who here has been there?
Well, actually, I've been to the one already, but
Okay. They have got probably one of the most amazing selection of Doctor Who merchandise of anywhere I've ever seen. We're talking autographs, we're talking mugs, we're talking figures from past, present, future, whatnot. They've got the largest collection of Big Finish audio outside of the Big Finish location in the UK. It it is an absolute, and that's 1/4 of their store. Anything you have a fandom for. Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Nightmare on Elm Street, Nightmare Before Christmas, James and the Giant Peach, Monty Python, they've got all of it there. It's an absolutely amazing store. I had set aside all this money for my week in Chicago. I spent it all. And had to go to an ATM. I had to call my family and say, put some more money in my ATM and get some more, get more money. I mean, I actually bought an autograph. Because my favorite actor of all time is now part of the Doctor Who family. My favorite actor of all time is a man named Sir Derek Jacobi, who ended up playing the Master. He's also I, Claudius. He's also he was also in this brilliant show called Vicious with Ian McKellen. But they had a autograph of him as the Master. And normally I'm not one to buy autographs. I just don't believe in it. But the chances, I mean, he's up there. The chances that I will ever get to meet Sir Derek are slim to none. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll get it. So, but yeah, and they've got almost all the sonic screwdrivers there. Alien Entertainment. It's well worth going to. Well worth going to. And some nice guys that run it. Really, really nice people there.
Every time they show up at Gallifrey, they know me, I run through and they say, which ones? And I point, and they pull them for me, and I go out and finish my job and come in and pay for it later.
Yeah.
But that's because...
Nice guys.
Yeah, they're really nice guys.
Yeah. I didn't know you knew them, or I would have said something when I was there.
Oh, no, because why don't you mention... Oh, you know Tadao. Yeah, okay. We always hold things and he always comes in late. It's funny. Yeah, they're great guys. Also,
they're a great place to go.
On a side note, if you really have to have, where do you live around or in Chicago? Michigan. Oh, that's not bad. Take a little side trip. Sometimes the Barnes & Noble, you'll be lucky to find some of these rare occasions Toys R Us. Toys R Us doesn't usually sell them anymore, but you'll find them in the clearance aisle occasionally, which is weird. Now some of these you will not find at all. Like this one.
Yeah.
This is number 296. I should memorize this by now, but 296 out of 400.
Yeah. I think 400 or 500.
Yeah, 400. Yeah. And the head spins off too. It's really fun. Yeah, because it's built off the Baker one from iRobot.
Yeah. God, it's beautiful.
Aluminum. Beautiful. It's great for rescuing cracked walnuts too. So.
No.
Anyway, so for me, it's a you go hunt and peck, and sometimes geek. Geek has some.
That's part of the joy of it, though, is finding these things. It's
You're on a
part of the
hunt.
joy of doing costumes and stuff like that. You go, oh my God, I finally found it. You know, when I found those brown and white English brogues in my size. I wear a size 6 in men's shoes. Finding shoes to fit me is difficult. Finding brown and white English brogues,
Yep.
I never thought I would, and we did. And then I found another set like a week later.
It's just in case.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
you don't
And
want
I
shoes
did.
that
I
way.
bought them just in case. Another cue. Jessica.
I have to say something.
Okay.
I feel like this is a safe place to say this, but can we talk about the intense emotional responses to Doctor Who episodes? Because I find myself totally destroyed sometimes, and I'm a huge Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan, and I liken it to many of those, especially the Angel Buffy arc that destroyed me there too. Oh my God, Doctor Who. I was really sick with a fever, and I was with Doctor Who, and the Kylie Minogue episode came on, and I did not know what I was in for. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna catch up with Doctor Who, I'm not feeling well. And by the end of it, I was weeping.
I'm just gonna say this.
Is it about that show?
Have you seen Vincent and the Doctor? Have you seen Vincent and the Doctor?
Yes!
Okay, good.
I'm not over it. I'll never be over it. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous, but the show breaks me down in a magical way where I'm like, I'm going to be upset for a long time now.
Not every episode, but a lot of them.
Well, no, not every episode, but a lot of them. Am I alone?
No.
I said at the start of this, I can't watch Vincent and the Doctor without crying.
No,
I can't.
But there's a lot that I can't watch. I'll never watch them again.
Oh no, I will watch them over and over.
Yeah, and
Oh, I will. In a heartbeat.
the actual phrase is, "Damn you, Moffat!"
I think part of it is that they have really exceptional writers. Who really tap into very core human things. I mean, that's the only way to put it. We were lucky enough here at this convention to have Paul Cornell, who wrote, in my opinion, a couple of the most beautiful episodes. There are Father's Day. He wrote Father's Day, I think they're able to just tap into something that's very human. But you hit on something that's very important to me, and I've said this at other panels, and I'm going to say it here. Doctor Who in England is family programming. It is a show for kids. Oh, it was a big thing. Oh, as I was a kid, I would hide behind the television. Now, my nephew comes to visit, and I've seen children's programming, like The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, The Witches of Waverly Place, and I look at what passes for family entertainment in the UK, which is brilliant and well acted and brilliant storylines. And then I watch what is passing for family entertainment in the United States, and I weep for our future. Which is horrible. They're awful. And then I watch, Doctor Who and Sarah Jane Adventures and. Yeah, I know. Oh, don't even start me. Don't
start me. We'll talk about that.
But it's on Hulu, so.
No, I'm gonna cry when I see it. There's a personal reason for this. Another reason why I'll be honest, most of the writers who are on Doctor Who have attended Gallifrey and other conventions for a long time. They're actually fans.
Yeah.
They're really fans. I mean, Moffat's a fan, Nathan Turner was a fan, and
Mark Gatiss.
And they're all brilliant. And
Davies.
And they all talk to us. They all hang around us. Okay, they will drink with us to no end. They're Brits, I'm sorry.
Well, that's one of the things that you and I were talking about, is that there is, especially with New Who, there is such a tip of the hat to the history. For example, most people don't realize that the long stick and the fez, or especially the fez, have a long history in Doctor Who, dating back to Hartnell. Hartnell was the first Doctor to wear a fez. Sylvester McCoy wore it in Silver Nemesis. Matt Smith was not the first Doctor in a fez, yet you put on a fez and everybody goes, "Oh, Matt Smith!" It's like, no, not quite. But tell them what you saw at the trial.
Oh yeah.
So cool.
So the rare moment I have time, I speak into the main ballroom at the Doctor Who convention, and a couple of guys had snagged a piece of film from a Patrick Troughton episode. Troughton needs help from the Time Lords, so he sits down and he flips out all these little square pieces. I'm like, wait a minute, I vaguely remember, and he's summoning help from the Time Lords. And they do a stop motion thing, but all of a sudden all these square pieces start moving, shaking, and they start coming together. And they are starting to form into 3D, and it's the box! The little boxes will make you angry. The Doctor's wife. The boxes started with Patrick.
With Troughton.
Troughton. And it's like...
The Cybermats.
The Cybermats.
We hadn't seen Cybermats in forever. And then all of a sudden they were back. And I love the fact that the writers and showrunners right now are such fans of the history of the show that they're hey, let's use this. It's a good idea. Let's use it. I love that.
Or Zygons.
Zygons came back.
Zygons
Ice Warriors.
Ice Warriors
came back. All of these are things. The Ice Warriors had only been in like one. Was it one or two?
There were actually three technically.
Okay.
Because because there was that the Palindon.
Yeah. Okay.
Gods, I remember the song.
There's so many Zygons back.
Zygons and all this, and I mean the biggest squee though was when Matt Smith was going up against the big eyeballs.
Oh, yeah.
And there's this great comic where the eyeballs are flashing through all the enemies that have attacked Earth, and it's a freeze frame on the sea monsters, and then they stop going, "What's that noise?" And it's the Doctor going, "You just set off the squee alarm," because everyone's going, "Oh my God, I remember that!" I'm assured that there are several more surprises left. That there's a vast amount of characters to come back, which is the fun thing. Cool. But basically, the reason why it's so emotional is because it's more or less Who fans writing Who. Except they're smarter than we are.
I will say this, I read a thing, back when the 50th anniversary was coming up and there's speculation as who was going to be in it, and is Baker going to be in it, is he not, are the old doctors coming back, are they not? Two interesting things were posed. I heard an interview with Tom Baker and an interview with Sylvester McCoy regarding this. And both of them said something very interesting. Baker said, oh no, I'm not coming, I won't come back. He said, it would be ridiculous at my age to try to come back as the Doctor. He said, now, if there were a room in the TARDIS where the Doctor could meet former incarnations of himself who had continued to age, then yes, I'd consider coming back as the Doctor for that, which is a lovely idea.
Yes, exactly.
McCoy, however, I think had the more interesting idea. He said, I think it would be wonderful to come back to Doctor Who, but not as the Doctor. He said, I think it would be very interesting if they brought all of the previous Doctors who can back as villains.
Darn you, Sylvester!
A brilliant idea. I think it'd be wonderful.
I can see Moffat going, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. But yeah, it was an interview that ended up on YouTube, and I was like, that's lovely. I like that.
Well, it means the Valley Art actually has a little more validation.
Exactly.
For those who don't know, there's an episode. No, wait, spoilers. Never mind.
No, we
You can't do that.
Can't say
Never
that.
mind.
Just watch the Trial of the Time Lord.
Yeah. Who's next?
Somebody else. Yeah, you pick. I ain't picking.
Oh,
It
yeah,
seems
picking.
like
Okay, we'll start right there.
What was your first experience with Doctor Who?
Baker. Baker was my first. It was a show that ran late night on PBS, and there were two shows that I would watch fanatically. One was a show called Doctor Who, and my sister would tease me about the rubber suits and stuff like that. The other was a show that still sticks with me, is a show called I, Claudius, which is where I developed my love for Derek Jacobi and Brian Blessed and Patrick Stewart, people like that. But yeah, it was obviously with Baker. And then I will say I didn't stop watching for a while because I came in the middle of Baker, and when we were getting on PBS, they were very pell-mell.
Oh boy.
You get a story, but and so all of a sudden one day I'm watching. I'd missed like a couple of weeks, and I come back and I'm watching, and there's a new guy doing it, and he wasn't the Doctor. And they called him the Doctor. And I got really mad. So I stopped watching for a couple of years. So I actually missed a lot of Davidson. I came back around Colin Baker.
Oh, okay.
End of Davidson, beginning of Colin Baker. And then I fell in love with Sylvester McCoy. So, but yeah, that was. So I understand when fans get angry. Well, that's not the Doctor. That kid is not the Doctor. Yes, he is. Just like when Matt Smith, when David Tennant became the Doctor, he's not the Doctor. Christopher Eccleston is the Doctor.
Yeah.
And now people are going, oh no, Capaldi's not the Doctor. Yes, they're all the Doctor. Deal with it.
My first thing to say is like most people say, well, I can't say that. No, just listen up, guys. Give the Doctor, and I change this. Give the actor for the moment one season to shake it.
Yeah.
It's like you get a new car you just put together by yourself. Give it a little seasoning, and then they'll find their own, and you'll be fine. And then that's been true so far for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
The quick story is my first Doctor technically was Patrick Troughton, because watching the PBS things, they actually had a Troughton, and then it switched to this guy with teeth and curls. My real introduction, this is a stupid thing, I was a DJ, and this college pirate crew actually broke into the local news service as Max Headroom. And then on one, they did this, and then half an hour later on a Sunday night, they went and broke into the PBS broadcast, which was the transition of a certain hair, the night you probably saw, all teeth and curls turning into the blonde guy. They interrupted this. The FCC logs officially state when the newscast was interrupted, there were 10 calls every 18 minutes. When the Who cast got interrupted, there were 23 calls every 2.5 minutes. That's when the FCC mobilized their first mobile strike force, mobile location, and I actually got on the tail end of that. I'm listed at, and they never set that particular unit down. I'm still technically working. So I'm actually OCT 61182.
Wow.
What this means is because if the radio station was working, I had a Swiss Army knife, so I was the backup engineer, which meant if they called me, I was just holding the lamp. That's my experience with Doctor Who. There's nothing else that slams you going, I'm hunting pirates who's trying to kill Doctor Who. Nothing else will. Okay,
Who's the next person?
All right, let's go with you. But remember this. So yellow first.
Okay. Of your collection of Doctor Who memorabilia, what is your trophy for your collection?
For me, obviously, like I said, I play with spoons. When she got him to call me, Crystal also got me a spoon autographed by Sylvester McCoy. So, yeah, I have a Sylvester McCoy autographed spoon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mine's not an official thing. My mother is theatrical. My father's a scientist, mother's a theater. She understood me better than Dad. Dad still. She gave me. She kept this a secret. Halloween, she surprised me and presented me with a Peter Davison jacket.
Wow.
Now, this is before anything else. Doctor Who still wasn't popular. I'm going, where did you get the... And it wasn't perfect, but it was the length of the jacket, the same can. And then I looked inside going, what the... And there's Japanese writing on the inside coat. And then Dad walks in and going, there's red piping, the red sleeves, and all in the pockets, and there's Japanese writing. I'm looking at it, and he goes, hey, that's not bad. It kind of looks like my old high school jacket. Mom didn't tell him. He goes, yeah, it looks like, hey, it even has the same name. Wait a minute. Where did the red stuff come from? Do you want it back, Dad? No. Here's the funny thing. My dad is actually a doctor, PhD, scientist, and I'm wearing a doctor's jacket, which is a double doctor thing. It's really weird. So that's actually my favorite, other than the Sonic that changes lights. But that's my favorite memorabilia.
You're right there.
How do you reconcile the bad episodes?
What bad episode?
What bad episodes? I was going to say the same thing. What? I enjoyed Kill the Moon.
Okay.
I enjoyed Kill the Moon.
I'm a physics major, so the bad science and some
It's called science fiction, dude.
It changes stoplights. We're not picking on you, but yeah.
Yeah,
A true, there's an interesting thing I want to point
There's
out.
also the moralism.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
But it is the Doctor having humans make their own choices, which
Yeah.
he's sort of taken away after a while. That's the first thing in my head. The second thing you want to consider is the BBC actually has a whole Doctor Who science series on YouTube, by the
Yeah.
way. They consider all the possibilities of science and actually explain reasonably the science of physics, of time travel, black holes, and a few other things. Although they haven't got to the moon one yet.
Yeah,
I've
they
already
haven't.
written to them like 15 times to tell me about this moon that's an egg in it.
Yeah.
And then I got the note back and it felt like, oh, it's the Asian guy again. So it's not a bad episode, but then it's like Star Trek, you know?
Yeah.
It's like every other episode is the great episode, and you can include Galaxy Quest. But you know, the other one, they're off episodes, but just consider it a okay episode.
Yeah. I don't consider any of them bad. There's some that I like better than others, but I've not seen any that I've outright hated. So that's hard to answer. Who was the next one? That was a good question though.
It was that, and then we go back. Yeah, so what's your? Oh, hi.
Have you heard anything that they're going to do any other movies or storylines with the other Doctor?
Oh, John Hurt.
Not heard anything.
All right, I'm going to put it this way. I once asked Paul Cornell, so what happens in Kyoto in 1886? And he said, oh, they have pancakes. And it kept bothering the rest of the writers. And they all just stopped, stared at me. Oh, they were making pancakes and waffles, or they were like ice skating. And I went, oh, crap. I realized I was infringing on their non-disclosure. I was just curious, because I want to see a Japanese version somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
It's the only chance I'm going to get on Doctor Who. So I could say something, but it would not be right because I'm not sure. I'm very sure someone's dropped a hint, but I'm guessing not, honestly, because he's got a lot on his plate.
He really does.
And, you know, that's it. Okay.
We've seen throughout the entirety of the series the Doctor face off against all kinds of various kinds of aliens and other threats from his own species. But if you could choose anything from any other sci-fi franchise out there for the Doctor to face off against, what would you choose? My first, I would like to see the Doctor face off against Q.
For me, that would depend on the doctor. I think different doctors would deal well with. I think Capaldi interview would be very interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Again, I'm a 7 guy, so I want to see Sylvester McCoy in the triples. I just think it would be fun. I just think it would be a lot of fun, you know.
Wow. I really can't top either one of those two. Darth Vader jumps to mind, but
Yeah.
I don't want to go there.
How about Xenomorphs?
Well, we got Zygons for that. So
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
Okay, we'll think about it. If you got suggestions, we'll talk about that later.
Who had the next hand up?
That was Lady in the Black, Lady in the Blue, no, Blue, Black, then. Okay, we'll go that way.
What's your favorite companion and your least favorite companion?
I'm totally biased on this one.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Charity auction 2 years ago, I had to get autographs from Billy Piper and Arthur Darvill.
Oh wow.
And I was wearing the bandolero. I was actually dressed up as Matt with the bow tie, and except someone had borrowed my tool belt, so I had to turn this sideways and turn my Sonics into a tool belt. Billy was completely frazzled. She was trying to get a hold, and we're in the basement of the convention, and then finally she's done. I've got to sort of demonstrate this. I'm standing in front, waiting patiently. Her table companion knows who I am, as the character of Mr. K. And she goes, "Oh my God! I can't believe all this. Those are a lot of sonnets. This requires a picture." Don't record this. Billy Piper took a picture of my crotch. So. And the big yellow banana. Oh, and this thing.
For me, favorite companion has to be Ace. I love Ace, and that's obvious. You know, again, I'm a 7 fan. But I will say, Sophie is not my Doctor Who crush. My Doctor Who crushes, in order, are Rose Tyler, Clara, and then Amy. Yeah.
I'm actually going to go with Elizabeth Sladen.
Oh yeah, well yeah, I knew you would.
Yeah, I did well.
I know, exactly.
She's really that charming. Oh
That's
my God.
what I've heard.
Elizabeth Sladen. I was going to go with Wheela.
Yeah.
She's still. Oh, sorry. And then we go with Rose, and I like all of them. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I do too. I do like it. There's not any that I don't like.
Oh yeah, I have to include Fraser Hines in this though.
Okay.
He's a cool guy. And he can work to kill. You see him do this. Boy, that's a crush. Okay.
Okay, who was the next one? Collection.
Yes.
So with Paul's Doctor in the face, and like, well, I've seen this face before. Do you think it's gonna play off on that, or is it completely dead?
I think he's addressed it. I think he's addressed it. It's just like a great example of addressing stuff like that was you realize in the Battle of Canary Wharf, one of the first people turned into a Cyberman was Freeman Atcherman, who plays Martha. And then the next season she's there as Martha, and she mentions her cousin, who was killed at Canary Wharf. That's all you have to do. You just say, okay, well, this is what happened.
And the Chancellery Guard, as I recall, from Gallifrey.
Yes,
familiar
Colin
Baker.
Yeah.
Well, Amy Pond was in.
Amy Pond was in Fires of Pompeii.
So was Peter Capaldi.
Yeah, so was Peter Capaldi. They were both in that.
And Sir Derek Jacobi. Oh wait.
Yes, hell yeah.
I don't know. You know what I think would be really funny though? Is if we got a James Bond jumping in. Or any of the, Pierce or Roger or someone just being like Timothy Dalton. That would be a good one. But they're not Bond. They're some sort of secret agent just happens to fall into the TARDIS. I would like to see that one just for fun and giggles.
Yeah.
I
like that.
Yeah. Okay. So then we hand.
Next, hand up back there. Yeah.
Back, way in the back. Yes, that's you.
I have a question.
Can't hear you.
You may have to stand up or come on up here. Hi.
I have a question.
Okay.
So I got introduced to Who through Tennant,
Okay.
One of my friends was like, okay, you gotta watch this episode, it's amazing. And then she showed me the Christmas episode,
Okay.
the first one with him, and got me hooked. And I was wondering if you guys could suggest any ways to get into the older Who stuff, because I've seen a lot of like the various kind of like highlight reel type stuff on Netflix.
Okay.
But
Here's real simple. I will tell you this. Hulu Plus has a ton of the old episodes. They don't have all of them. Well, nobody has all of them, but they've got a lot more. And it's well worth checking out. Some may appeal to you, some may not. Some doctors may appeal to you, some may not. You know, but I would definitely recommend looking it up on Hulu.
okay.
Because they have current Doctor Who, and then they have classic series. And it goes back to Ghost of a Child.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's really wonderful to have.
I agree. And the only other exception to that is if you can find the Peter Cushing versions of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
But remember, Peter Cushing is not. Well, he is.
He is, but he isn't.
It's like Never Say Never Again with Sean Connery during the time when they have actual, James Bond films. So yeah, just consider that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right there.
There are two indirect questions. First, because you brought them up, have you guys seen the Riff Tracks treatment of those Doctor Who unofficial films?
Unofficial.
The Cushion.
The Cushion. Oh, they're not official.
I spaced out. I can remember.
That's okay. Yeah. No, I haven't.
I have. Don't ask. It was a late night. There was a lot of chocolate involved. And jelly bean.
Yeah.
Before they were eaten. Oh, sorry.
The other question I had was, is there a subject or story or you would like to see addressed? I know watching the earlier stuff, I haven't seen it all, but I tried to start to get old stuff, and then coming to the new stuff. Is there something you'd like them to touch on? I know I would like to see a story explaining what happened to his granddaughter.
They sort of did.
Yeah.
All right, so if you get mine. Okay. So Susan Foreman, the doctor's granddaughter, of course, was left in actually this century, if we think about it, in the universe where the Daleks have taken over. This hasn't happened because everything's changed. So, however, in a storyline called The Five Doctors, where they have almost all the doctors, including a very stiff Tom Baker, they brought Susan Foreman back, and she was very shortly grandfather, and it wasn't her grand. She can recognize all of them, which is the strange thing. And also, the Susan Foreman exists, and so she's somewhere, and she's older. She's just like watching Tom Baker show up as the curator, sort of thing. Sorry, spoilers. She's back. She's somewhere. We don't know how. We don't know where. For all we know, she could be I'm trying to think. One of the Time Lords, the lady in the Time Lords, the Weeping Angel thing.
Could very easily be her.
Could be very easily her as a character was,
because they say it's his mother. And,
or it could be Romana. I was
wondering.
Which speculation runs rampant. We're going to need drugs. Okay. Does that answer your question, sort of?
What kind of story arcs would you like to see established?
Oh, you.
God, I'd have to think about that. I'd have to think long and hard about that.
Let's get back to you on that one. Everyone else will be an essay afterwards. You will all submit the answers. Okay.
I'm there.
All right. Green? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. One of the first ones one of the first companion deaths that shocked me the most, Adric.
I was trying to think of the name Adric.
Adric was a shocker to some extent. In reality, that was the first actual companion death. And in a heroic way, but in the same time, the most confusing way.
It wasn't Aldrich, and I knew it wasn't Aldrich.
No, Adric, not Waterhouse. That was the most confusing one because it's possible you could jump the time streams to get to him and rescue him, but you can't. It's one of those left hanging, come back to it later if you can, and that's one of the most shocking. That's mine at the moment. I could get to the 4 million others, but I don't want to get to them.
There are a couple others, but that by far is sort of almost.
The shocker.
Right there, Doctor.
I have two questions.
Okay, we may have two answers, we may not be smart enough.
And we may make it up.
First one, what is your favorite TARDIS desktop theme?
Desktop theme.
The one with the roundy things.
I like the new one because it looks more like a library.
Oh yeah.
I really like the new TARDIS theme.
And my second question is, which of the Doctor's regenerations do you think was the best or the most well done? Most well done.
Well,
Not 6 to 7. Definitely not 6 to 7.
Yeah, that's the.
That was the weakest.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, when you look, all right, this is something. There was a podcast that really slammed into John Pertwee's circus one, the one of the. And the first one is, first of all, you just dissed John Pertwee. You're dead.
Thank you.
And then someone said, Tadao, you should help out. No, I don't want dissing John Pertwee. But they didn't understand the time era and technology that we have to deal with. For those of you who watch something like an old black and white film, a Tom and Jerry film, the one start watching Steamboat Willie and then work your way up to the current Disney stuff, everything changes.
Yeah.
At the time period we have, what they did is the best.
We're state of the art.
State of the art.
Yeah.
And now we have high definition, we'll have 3D, we'll have smell-o-vision. God, I fear
John
that one.
Waters already did that.
Oh yeah, you're right. So basically, all the transitions, yeah, you're right. They're all great in their own way. And I know that's a cheat because, you can get to the more spectacular ones now.
Yeah.
You can go back and use our technology now, and like 10 years from now, the kids that come after us, we're going, oh, that's so old school. Why don't you try this? And all of a sudden, wow, Explodo-Vision, yeah!
Blows up your house. one thing that I would like to see that I think would be really good would be a licensing payment nightmare. Do you remember when they did Let's Kill Hitler? And there was a scene that they cut, that they did an animatic for it. They had recorded everything, dialogue-wise, and they did an animatic of the motorcycle jumping through the roof and everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god. Why don't they do that with the Big Finish audios? Then we could have more bakers and more. I know. I'd love to see that. I would love to see that. But
Maybe.
But it would be a licensing nightmare in terms of royalties and stuff like that for actors and things like that.
Okay, I'll get into that in a minute. And first of all, the one thing is that the BBC has started doing some minor animatics of things. They redid Shada. They did redid Shada with Lala Ward and Paul McGann instead of Tom Baker. Not for the obvious reasons, but for the easier ones. They also did some of the Patrick Troughton ones and all this and that. There is a brilliant one.
I've got one of Patrick Troughton. Somebody gave it to me for Christmas.
Oh.
Yeah, I've got to watch it yet.
Okay, when you do, let me know.
I will.
There's one brilliant one that they did, which involved when the Ponds, the Manhattan, Angels of Manhattan episode. There's a forgotten scene. I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a taken out scene that involves Rory's dad. It's an aftermath thing, and it's all just in blue and white. They did it officially.
Yeah.
You can do this. Wait, what were we talking about again?
We were talking about the animatic.
Oh yeah, we're talking about it. So that would be your best bet, and it's possible. We're gonna, if you don't mind, there was someone in the back, or they already left. Okay, right.
Back there.
All right, lady in the blue.
Okay, so through all of your cons that you've gone to and events, what was your favorite cosplay?
Mine's a triple tie is the problem.
I'd be hard pressed.
There is, I'm biased because of the Gallifrey thing. We have this young lady, and she's online. She was all of 2 years old. Her mother had made every single doctor.
I've seen pictures of her.
And that's brilliant.
Yeah.
But what's more brilliant is like every 2-year-old, you have kids, she just fell over asleep in front of one of the conference rooms in a Matt Smith outfit, right across from the autograph table. And Mark Shepard's dad comes straight up. Because the parents are just going, oh, she fell down, she's so tired, it's only like 1 o'clock, and oh my God, and Mark Shepard comes up, kneels down, and pats her on the head going, yes, this is indeed the doctors may have changed. There's the whole line. It's online.
Wow, nice.
Now the next one after that, at San Diego Comic-Con, there's this little girl who's dressed up as the Box.
Oh,
Same
nice.
age-ish thing, oh, so cute.
That's adorable.
And then there's the baby in the stroller that's dressed up like a Dalek. So those are my favorite.
Okay, my favorite is actually a friend of mine. Some of you have been here before, and he's been a guest here before. You know Michael Tatum.
Oh, yeah.
Some of you may have met Michael's ex-boyfriend, Joshua. Joshua will come down in the morning at a con, dressed as Hartnell. And then about midway through the day, he will excuse himself, and he will regenerate into trouble. And then before the end of the day, he will have regenerated into Pertwee. And I love the fact that he just regenerates during the day. I love that.
He needs more coffee. Okay, we're going to start running out of time. Yeah. Okay, so are we out?